The Old Testament features many figures known for their wisdom, but one of the most prominent is King Solomon. Solomon's reign stands out because he is remembered not only as a wise ruler, but also as someone who brought peace and prosperity to Israel. Under his leadership, Israel flourished, with an economy that stabilized and grand structures, including the magnificent Temple of Solomon, being built. However, despite his early successes and wisdom, Solomon's life took a tragic turn as he fell into temptation and strayed from the path that God had set for him. For this video, we will focus on Solomon's early years and explore how he earned his reputation as a wise king. Solomon's early life and ascension to the throne. Solomon's life began in a difficult and controversial manner. He was the son of King David and Bathsheba. Solomon's birth was seen as a gift from God, a sign of God's forgiveness and grace. Solomon was considered a peace offering from God to David, a symbol of reconciliation after the loss of their first child. 2 Samuel 12 verses 24 to 25. Solomon was loved by God even as a child, and it is clear that God had great plans for him. Despite having 6 older half-brothers, Solomon was chosen to be king. This decision was influenced by Bathsheba and the prophet Nathan, who helped ensure that Solomon would ascend to the throne while David was still alive. Some of David's other sons, like Adonijah, had ambitions of taking the throne for themselves, but Solomon was ultimately chosen as the king. This decision to make Solomon king was seen as divinely inspired, as many believed he had the potential to be a great ruler, and his reign would bring benefits to all of Israel. Solomon's request for wisdom. When Solomon took the throne, he was young and inexperienced. However, God was pleased with the way Solomon ascended to the throne, and God appeared to him in a dream. In 1 Kings 3 verses 5 to 9, God offered Solomon the chance to ask for anything he wanted, and God promised to grant his request. Solomon could have asked for wealth, power, or long life, but instead, he humbly asked for wisdom to govern his people well. Solomon understood that to rule justly and wisely, he needed God's help, and so he asked for the ability to discern right from wrong, to lead his people with fairness and understanding. Solomon's request for wisdom pleased God greatly because it showed humility and self-awareness. Solomon did not ask for selfish things, but rather sought wisdom for the good of his people. Because of Solomon's selflessness, God granted him not only wisdom but also wealth, power, and honor, making him the most prosperous and renowned king of his time. 1 Kings 3 verses 10 to 14. Solomon's story teaches us the importance of humility, selflessness, and seeking wisdom for the benefit of others, rather than for personal gain. By asking for wisdom, Solomon received blessings far greater than what he had initially sought. Solomon's judgment of the 2 women. One of the most famous stories illustrating Solomon's wisdom is the case of 2 women who came to him with a dispute. These women, described as prostitutes in some interpretations, both lived in the same house and had recently given birth. Unfortunately, one of the babies died, and the mother of the dead child secretly swapped her dead child with the living one. When the true mother woke up and saw the dead baby in her arms, she immediately realized that it was not her child. She confronted the other woman, but the accused woman denied it and refused to acknowledge the truth. The case was brought before King Solomon, and he was tasked with determining who the real mother was. Solomon, knowing that this would be a difficult decision, proposed a radical solution. He called for a sword and suggested that the baby be cut in half, with each woman receiving half of the child. 1 Kings 3 verses 16 to 23. The false mother, who had no attachment to the child, agreed to this cruel proposal, but the real mother, overwhelmed with love for her child, immediately cried out and offered to give up her claim to the baby if only it would be spared. Solomon, seeing this display of genuine love, declared the woman who was willing to give up her child as the true mother and gave her the baby. This story became a testament to Solomon's wisdom. His ability to discern the true mother based on her willingness to sacrifice her claim to the child was remarkable. It also revealed the depths of a mother's love and the lengths she would go to protect her child. The people of Israel were amazed at Solomon's wisdom, and his reputation spread far and wide. This story teaches us that wisdom often requires deep understanding and the ability to see beyond surface-level appearances. The Queen of Sheba's visit. As Solomon's fame for wisdom spread, even distant rulers heard of his reputation. One such ruler was the Queen of Sheba, who traveled to Jerusalem to test Solomon's wisdom with difficult questions. She brought with her a great many gifts and posed riddles to Solomon, hoping to challenge him and see if his wisdom was truly as great as rumored. Solomon answered all of her questions without hesitation or difficulty, and the Queen of Sheba was astounded by his knowledge and insight. 1 Kings 10 verses 1 to 13. Impressed by his wisdom, wealth, and the splendor of his court, the queen declared that she had heard only a fraction of Solomon's greatness. She praised God for granting Solomon such wisdom and for placing him on the throne to rule Israel. The Queen of Sheba's visit is often seen as a confirmation of Solomon's wisdom and the global recognition of his leadership. Solomon's legacy of wisdom. King Solomon's reign was marked by peace, prosperity, and unparalleled wisdom. He built the magnificent temple in Jerusalem, which became the center of worship for the Israelites. He also wrote many Proverbs, Psalms, and Ecclesiastes, which continue to be treasured for their profound wisdom and practical advice. Solomon's wisdom extended to matters of governance, diplomacy, and even nature, as he was known for his ability to understand the natural world and its mysteries. 1 Kings 4 verses 29 to 34. King Solomon's story teaches us valuable lessons about wisdom, humility, and the importance of seeking God's guidance in all things. His early reign was marked by a desire to serve his people and lead them with wisdom, and in turn, God blessed him with riches, honor, and a legacy that would endure for generations. The story of Solomon's judgment of the two women and his encounter with the Queen of Sheba are just two examples of how his wisdom impacted the world. As we reflect on Solomon's life, we are reminded of the importance of seeking wisdom, staying humble, and remaining faithful to God.
If you found this video enjoyable, please consider liking and sharing it. Additionally, subscribing to this channel will ensure that you receive more updates in the future. Thank you.